Okay, hi everybody. So my husband is still at the park, so I'm gonna try to get another video in as soon as I can. Okay, I'm trying to get this one in just because, like, I don't know, like when he's gonna be back, and I'm like trying to hurry up. But now this article, okay, this is old. This is from, I'm gonna like highlight it. As you can see, this is from February 7, 2016. Okay, now when I do research on like Latinos and police brutality, I find like reports and stories and stats and stuff from years ago. Okay, but this one is something that I wanted to like talk about. And as you can see, the title of it is Stop Ignoring the Police Killings of Latinos. Okay, so I'm just going to start off, okay? So the killing of 17-year-old Jessica Hernandez in Denver was one of the most notorious incidents of police shootings last year. Hernandez was shot 4 times after she allegedly drove a stolen car toward an officer. Her death sparked public outcry and protests, but the national media largely ignored the story. Okay? So when I keep saying things like that over and over again, I'm not trying to be some, feel sorry for me. No, like this is the truth, man. Like our stories really are ignored. This is from 2016, okay? At 2 a.m. Okay, let me stop. Let me just keep going. All right. The lack of national media attention to Hernandez's death was not surprising. Police kill Latinos at a higher rate than whites. Latinos were the second largest group killed by police in 2015 after blacks. The Guardian documented 194 killings, but that number could be higher if all deaths were counted and if Hispanic were classified as a race. What? Who always says that in the channel? Me. Well, I don't say Hispanic, but I'm always saying Latino. I guess I must sound like I'm in a decent mood right now because it's like, when like you're always saying things and I'm always saying, I want Latinos to classify themselves as a race. I want us to classify ourselves as a race. I want us to classify ourselves as a race. It would benefit us. It would benefit us. It would benefit us. And I have all opposing people from different sides that like to come at me in different ways, whether it be direct or indirect. They always got to say something stupid to kind of counter my argument. And there's so many different things that are out there that prove that if we classified ourselves as one group, as one race, that it would benefit us so much more. And even in this case, it would benefit us too. Let me continue. I know that okay. I'm calm now. It is possible that several Latino deaths were added to white and black categories. No sheboygan. Really. Anyhow, but few police shootings of Latinos make national headlines. The lack of national attention and outrage stems from the poor understanding of the history of state violence against them in the United States. Even Latinos themselves don't understand it either. Police shootings of Latinos have generated outrage in Latino communities for decades, but this history tends to be ignored. For example, the Latino community in Denver has organized against police brutality since the 1960s, yes, but the sparse coverage of Hernandez's death lacked historical context. The media interest in police killings of unarmed black men has picked up in light of the Black Lives Matter movement. As a result, several media outlets have asked, why is there little to no public outrage over police shootings of Latinos? Why? Why media outlets? Why? Al Jazeera wants to know. They wanted to know this in 2016, but you didn't answer them. Some analysts have argued that this neglects results from the erroneous assumption that most Latinos are undocumented immigrants. Yeah, that's the freaking... we know we're all Mexican and we're all illegal in the eyes of everyone else outside. We're all the same. In other words, police killings of Latinos spark less outrage because they are viewed as foreigners. These claims have merit, but they fall short of addressing a critical factor behind the neglect for Latino lives. Latino history has not been fully integrated into mainstream American history, and it should. It should be, because there are some groups of us that have been here for a long time, but we get no credit. No. We get shitted on by everybody, and then we have our foreign brethren that come here. You're not one of us. No, you're not one of us. No, you're American. You're American. And then you got Americans saying, no, you're foreign. You're foreign, man. You're foreign. I'm really like, I'm trying to enjoy myself right now. This little bit of peace and quiet is actually really good for me right now. This is very therapeutic for me. And right now, I'm really in my zone with this article from 2016 in Al Jazeera. All right, I'll continue. Latinos have formed organizations to address police brutality and other issues that affect their communities since the 1940s. These include the Brown Berets, Community Alert Patrol, Crusaders for Justice, Young Lords Party, and Chicano Revolutionary Party. For example, the Community Alert Patrol was formed in 1968 in the east side of San Jose, California, a predominantly Mexican-American community. It challenged the nearly all-white San Jose Police Department to be more accountable. Activists followed cops around with cameras and tape recorders to document incidents of police abuse. However, the efforts of these groups remain largely erased from popular memory. In the 1960s, incidents of police brutality sparked riots in poor and working class Latino communities, primarily in Puerto Rican, Mexican, and Central American neighborhoods. Now, before I continue, I've said this in videos before, but I will say it again. My dad has several stories of him growing up in New York City during this era. Okay? Several stories of incidents with the cops. Not just one. And him not doing shit. Literally, they would just go around and mess with people. Literally. If they saw you on the stoop, they would knock you in the knees with their freaking... What the hell are those things called? The batons? Is it a baton? Is it a baton? I think of batons. I think of cheerleaders. And, they swirl batons. I guess those are called batons also. Maybe they're not. They're sticks. Those sticks that they use. Okay? So back in the day, that's what my dad used to say. They used to hit him with those sticks like in his knees. All right? And he would just be sitting in the front stoop as a kid, as a, young teenager, even before his teenage years, I believe he told me. And they used to do that. They used to say, get off the stoop, you stupid spick, and bop him in the knees, okay? Sometimes bop him in the head, but not extremely hard to where there's a freaking cook. I'm sure they did that to some people, but I'm saying in my father's case, that didn't. Anyway. But yes, plenty of incidents with the cops, and those are the light ones. There was heavier ones, but he fought. Anyway, I'm not going to get too into that. Several cities, including Chicago and Hartford, Connecticut, were hit by Latino riots. The protests continued through the 1990s. Camden, New Jersey in 1971, Newark, New Jersey in 1974, Perth Amboy, New Jersey in 1988, Washington, D.C. in 1994, and Los Angeles in 1992. The most recent Latino protests over police violence occurred in Anaheim, California in 2012, and Salinas, California in 2014. Yet, these historic Latino riots were overshadowed by black riots as they are now. The incidents in Philadelphia, Detroit, and Newark have gained a more prevalent focus from historians because of their African American, racially charged nature that fall under the umbrella of race riots during the 1960s and 1970s, according to Yale doctorate student Pedro Regalado. That's right, Pedro. If these riots remain in obscurity, Americans will struggle to understand the challenges that plague poor and working class Latino communities. And that's a fact. That is the truth. What? It is time to jettison? What? The black-white binary that renders Latinos invisible and contributes to the denial of historical and present-day injustices against their community. Damn straight. This lack of understanding for the history of police violence against Latinos also leads to selective outrage to incidents that are strikingly similar. The 2013 shooting death of 13-year-old Latino teen Andy Lopez in Santa Rosa, California sparked less outrage than the killing of 12-year-old African-American teen Tamir Rice in Cleveland, Ohio. 12 years old is not a teen, but anyway. Both incidents involved children holding a toy gun. Both were declared justified shootings. However, unlike the plethora of articles and outrage from Rice's killing, Lopez's tragedy remained a local issue and inspired only local protests. That's a damn shame. Police killings of Latinos have troubling historical roots. Yet it is often viewed as an anomaly. That's what I keep saying. This shit is not an anomaly. It's just the freaking media treats it like an anomaly. And then if we talk about it, we're wrong for talking about it. And it's like at any point we're wrong for talking about it seems. For contemporary state violence against brown bodies to have more social meaning, Americans must learn about historical incidents such as the lynchings of Mexicans in the Southwest border violence and the forced sterilization of Mexican and Puerto Rican women. Yeah, there was a whole sterilization that took place in Puerto Rico. I never spoke about that on my channel. Other YouTubers spoke about it on their channel. I don't know if people want me to talk. I mean, I guess I could talk about that at some point. But the thing is like, the reason why I don't talk about those things too much is because, again, I do my best to focus on the things, on the incidents that happen here in the States, because we literally, Puerto Ricans from PR barely have a voice on this platform. Puerto Ricans from New York really don't have a voice on this platform. Meanwhile, there's more of us that are living here than there are that are actually living on the island. But I digress. We also need to be informed about what's happening today. Latino communities are still disproportionately targeted by law enforcement. From 2011 to 2012, Latino households in Allentown, Pennsylvania were 29 times more likely to be targeted by SWAT raids than by white households. Latinos and whites make up 42.8 and 43.2% of the city's population. Similarly, in 2011, Latino drivers were nearly 5 times more likely to be pulled over by police than whites in Milwaukee. Latinos and whites make up 17.3 and 44.8% of Milwaukee's total population. I did not know that. I did not know that about Milwaukee. Latino national leaders have been criticized for deliberately ignoring unpleasant issues that affect their communities, while a number of influential African Americans have spoken out vehemently against mass incarceration. Latino leaders have proven inept at mirroring this outrage. True that. Investigative journalist Aaron Cantu wrote in 2014, Latino leaders seem as if they'd rather sweep the issue and those most affected by it under the rug, out of sight and the way of their efforts to assimilate into elite American society. Yeah, that is true. That is true. With there is this notion of assimilation. Like I definitely know that from my family. I mean, that was like the goal of my family. That's one of the main reasons why I don't even speak a lick of Spanish. I mean, I can you can talk to me in Spanish. I'll understand you. I'm gonna respond to you in English though. But anyway, that really was kind of the goal for a lot of Latin families, unfortunately. So there is truth to that. It is possible that some Latino leaders ignore police brutality out of fear that concerns of Latino communities will be associated with black issues. It was not until October 2015 that the National Council of La Raza decided to examine police relations within Latino communities. Wow, it took a long time. That took a really long time, but I think, again, I kind of go back to a lot of the things that I've said, like in comments in my own recent videos, and when people would ask me about things, a comment that I feel like I've said a few times is, I think the main thing, and I think I've also said it too, the main issue is that if the masses of us aren't hearing about these things from our media, then we are going to believe that these things are isolated incidents when we hear about them. And even if they are a lot, and they may seem like a lot, it's like, okay, it's a lot. And it's like, but how come the media isn't talking about it? Should we even make this an issue because there's a other group that's happening and it happens to the black community more? Should we not even make... So I think that there's probably that's probably where the hesitancy comes from, I would think, So I don't. That's just my opinion. It is time to jettison the black-white binary that renders Latinos, and this is what I read up there before, invisible and contributes to the denial of historical and present-day injustices against the community. The neglect for the plight of Latinos also undermines the courageous work of generation of activists who labor to mend police community relations. Americans can no longer remain ignorant to the history of police violence against Latinos. Lives are at stake, and that is very true because there's more lives. As all of these videos that I've been posting of all these Latino people being shot and killed within the past few weeks, that's proof of that. So it's still happening. It's still an issue. And all this protesting, all this stuff, it's still going on with us. It's still going on with us too. But yeah, I know that this is from 2016, but I still felt like, when I read it, a lot of the points that were made in it, sometimes I feel like, we do have to go back, even if it's within recent, because this is recent history, it's only 4 years old. Sometimes we should go back and look at these things, just so, I feel like I have to, because there is that part of me that it's not that part of me that sees. I've seen it within other people's commentaries and people who have been commenting when Latinos talk about any type of issues and plights, or they bring up the police brutality against them. I've seen troll accounts coming up under them and, well, at least it's not the worst, and at least it's not. It's like, whoa, what the hell is that? Like, what type of silencing tactic is that? So, there are people that seem to be invested in just, us not wanting to say anything about these things. And obviously, that's still the case. Even now, that's still the case. But to me, the bigger issue is these cops. It all goes back to accountability with these cops. If they were held accountable, then these things wouldn't be happening the way that they do. And I believe that if all groups were to talk about police brutality in general, then it will get more people to care. Then maybe it will force things to be changed more within this system of ours. Just my thinking. If more of us actually talk about it, especially us minority groups, or the other minorities, the Latin people, if we start talking about it more, it'd be more people for the cause of, getting rid of these ain't shit cops that are freaking killing people, innocent people, Anyway, enough of my BSing. I'm gonna go again for now. I don't know if I'm gonna post this day, or maybe I'm gonna post it tomorrow, tonight. I don't know. But hopefully you guys at least enjoyed my little spurts, my little outbursts with this one. I enjoyed being my fun self. I feel like it's hard to have fun with these freaking articles. This stuff is not. It brings out that that other side of me where it's like it brings out the depressed side. I don't like it. I miss being my happy self. Shit. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm still my happy self. It's just the articles, and when I read them and they're sad, it's like, oh damn, I feel like we're doomed. So. I feel like I get into that mode, and it's hard for me to be like jolly and stuff. Alright, gonna go for now. See you guys in my next video. Bye.